evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time of day you watch this. Steve, see you later on. Thanks for joining us. My name's Duke. That's Andy. Steve's disappeared into the ether,
It's
apparently.
just had enough.
He can't be bothered to talk about it yesterday. This is extra time, slightly different review. I was back. Slightly different review. Obviously, Rob's not with us due to work commitments. So the two boys have joined me for a special edition of Extra Time to talk about yesterday's game. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Please like the video, share the video, write the theme tune, sing the theme tune, all of that rubbish. I'm supporting food banks, yada, yada, yada. You know how it all works, guys. Boys, we're here to talk about yesterday then. I'll run through, obviously, the starting lineup when they came out. I don't know how you boys felt, but we had Fabianski in goal, Emerson, Ogbonna, Agerd, Johnson, Downs, Souček, Cornet, Lanzini and Fornals, Danny Ings. And then obviously on the bench we had Bowen, Benrahma, Rice, Mubama, Cresswell, Zuma, Paqueta, Areola, Tilo Kehrer. Andy, your thoughts when you saw that announced?
Yes. It's finally fucking done it.
Yeah.
The pennies dropped. The pennies dropped.
It did feel like that, didn't it? It really did.
Was surprised. The only thing I was surprised about was there was not more under 18s on the bench. I thought that could have been. We'll get onto it later on. I just didn't get the substitutions. What's the point of them travelling and playing half an hour? It's the equivalent of getting up, I know it's only across London, but they don't need that. They could have sat home and watched it at home with their feet up and not having to worry about commuting. But this is we got half the bargain, so I can't really complain.
No.
Steve, yourself?
No, I was delighted with the lineup. I'm entirely focused on Thursday, so I saw that lineup. I thought, no, that's a team that gives our players a rest. That's a team will get beat, and I was right on both counts.
Yeah, you know what? I will say that it came out, and obviously one of the first things I noticed was there was no Antonio anywhere, which I was really impressed with. I mean, like you, Andy.
Well, no, he's got a calf injury apparently. That's the worrying thing.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, Moyes is very good at.
No. So I was on thingy yesterday.
Something here.
I was on Claret, and someone said, because obviously we was at the game, we didn't see it. Apparently, at the end of the game, he had shit round his calf at the end of the game, and that's what he had.
It's learn how to wipe properly then. If he's
he also had quite a nice black eye as well.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying by what people, because I just went, oh, it's mind games, and there are people are saying,
well, that's
either way, he wasn't there.
Well, yeah. You know what? For me, in agreement with you boys, I do believe he learned from last year. I do believe that obviously the Leeds game on Saturday, I think probably preempted him a little bit more. You know, the fact that he didn't get 3 points, I think he felt that he could rely on Liverpool this evening when they play Leicester. And that our goal difference will be enough, as we were talking before we came live, boys. I said it'd take, I think, a 6-0 defeat for Leeds to beat us at the London Stadium, and then for us to lose 3-0 at Leicester, them to win their last game 3-0, for them to stay up and us to go down. I do believe that's how it'd work. I don't see that happening. So for all intents and purposes, I think that kind of gave him a chance to make the rotation. I think if Leeds had beaten Newcastle, we would have seen a slightly stronger side out yesterday, and I really am convinced of that. I don't know about you boys. It felt really pedestrianised, the game. Some have called it a pre-season friendly. I I put it in the chat and I said it was literally a game where it was just go through the motions, get the game out of the way.
Yeah.
I'd like to say turn up and play a bit of football. I don't think they did. I actually was incredibly disappointed. Listen, I get that a lot of these players haven't played had some real game time, but the likes of Cornet, who should be sitting there going knock knock knock, boss, I really would like to start against Alkmaar, in the semi final. Flynn Downs also doing the same thing. Knock, 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 boss. I've had a good game against Brentford. I really should be, put yourself in the window for the game. And neither of them did. Neither of them. Fornells didn't. Lanzini didn't. Again, their first goal. It's really poor defending from Emerson. It really frustrates me because he doesn't bust the bollock to get back. And we've seen it a couple of times in games where he really doesn't put the effort in to get back to either cover a man or pick a man up. Really poor from Fabianski. Goes under him. I know people are blaming Agerd for a pass. To Downs, was it quite a lackadaisical pass to Downs?
Yeah, it was to Downs, and Downs obviously got out muscled, and then obviously he was clean through. But
Fabianski, do better, Andy. In your opinion?
Ariola made a mistake. Obviously, I'm going back to Thursday as well, and everyone was like, "Yeah, let's see, Fabianski's the better keeper, Mr. Reliable." Blah blah.
No,
I think he made a point. 4 mistakes he's cost us now in the Premier League in a row. Or no. Apart from Man United, but the other games, Crystal Palace, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And everyone, I'm sorry, we need to go and get another goalkeeper in the summer. I think Ariola will leave anyway. And my money... I'm sorry, Steve.
No, carry on, mate.
No, I will still go and get... I know he's hardly played since his injury. I'll go and get Dean Henderson from Man United. That's who I'll go and get. He's on loan on Forest at the minute. He's not played because he's injured, but I think he's the most probably reliable kid. Or Mendy. If we could get Mendy from Chelsea, but his wages are ridiculous, I'll go and get Mendy.
Concern.
But we need another keeper. Simple as.
And so the trouble is when a keeper makes a mistake, there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to cover it. I would want to see Ariola as our number one at the start of next season. I think the time has come. Fab's getting older.
Well, the argument was to be made, Steve, that he should have been number one at the start of the season. Fabianski being our cup goalkeeper.
But how could you drop Fab? He hasn't had a bad season. Yeah, I agree. He's made mistakes.
I don't think it's about having bad seasons, mate. I think, listen, goalkeepers, and I know what people say about goalkeepers, obviously, are timeless compared to outfield players, if you will, and their careers and they age slightly differently when it comes to outfield players. But agility is still a thing. And don't get me wrong, I think Fab makes, 3 really good saves in this game.
He did, yeah. And that saved, sorry the pun, but that saved him, didn't it, overall?
Yes.
It would have been a lot worse if he hadn't been there.
Well, I remember there was one good save where he gets down, gets his hand behind it, and it stops it dead. It like, bang, it's there.
Yeah.
But then he goes and lets himself down, in my opinion, he really does with the goal. Andy, Emerson, obviously, I think there was another game earlier in the season. Can't remember who it was against.
Yeah, I know what one you
We concede a goal. We do concede a goal. And he doesn't bust a bollock to get back. Exactly the same thing yesterday. What's the replays in the goal from behind? Have a watch it. Bloody door. Have a watch
the door, will you?
Game. Yeah. When the ball comes out to Mbuemo, he's just strolling back. He's like 15 yards behind him. It's embarrassing that we paid, a lot of money for a replacement left back for Cresswell. All right, he's meant to be a left wing back, but
yeah, that's the thing. He's not a left back.
I actually still like him. I didn't. The only thing I will say is we shouldn't be losing the ball there. He was bumming up forward to get in the attack. So if Aguerd looks up or plays it back to Fab or whatever, he has got an option. I do agree that he should have run a little bit further. But when the way you've got to look at it on another end, would Creswell have got back? He wouldn't
No.
have had the pace to do it.
Wouldn't have been going forward at that point.
Yeah, no. So you've got to look at it at both angles. But no, I agree. He probably should have got back a little bit more. But with regards to the criticism what Aguerd's getting, I understand it. But he's playing right centre back, and I heard comments go, "Well, he plays there for Morocco." Well, yeah. So what? This is Premier League. It's totally different kettle of fish.
A whole different catfish.
Yeah. If you ask John Terry to play right centre back or Vidic, they would struggle. Left centre back become their own, and they'll probably one of the most gifted both footed players in the Premier League's history. Do you know what I mean? But like, you can't. That's the only thing I can say for him. And having flipping Kera or Soufal, and then having Ben Johnson, who is League One at best now. That's what I think level he is.
He's very poor now, isn't he? Yeah. I've got to say, the couple of games I've seen Kera in, he's been right back. The last 2 games, he's been damn good.
Yeah, but again, I think, well, obviously, I discussed in the preview with Rob yesterday, we were talking about it, and I said about, going out and buying the players that we've bought. We needed to replace more players in the starting 11 for those players, the likes of Emerson, to be able to play left wing back. We needed 2 other centre backs because Bonner's legs are going and Zuma's legs have gone. You can't defend high up with those 2 and Aguerd when Aguerd's the only one that can get back to defend when players get in behind them. I think the future is Kera right back with obviously Soufal in there as a deputy. Zuma and Aguerd, there's the 2 centre backs, and then obviously Emerson currently. I'd like to see someone else come in, but that's neither in nor there.
Yeah.
We got to 45, boys. They scored again. Tell me what it is about us and not being able to defend long throws. What they've scored 3 goals out of 4, and they've come from throw-ons. What are we doing that we can't defend a fucking throw-on?
Well, it reminded me of the American military searching for Osama bin Laden. Running around without a clue and coming up empty. Really, they just can't do it, can they? Nope. Against Brentford, particularly for some reason, and Moyes actually said we've been practicing it, and you could see the frustration in his face. They switched off.
What? They switch off. This is I can't even. I get angry thinking about it. They switch off, and it's so frustrating.
But it was our B team. I mean, this is what we got to remember.
It's basic defending, Steve. I don't mean to be.
No.
It's just basic football. Like, you got to stay switched on, and they didn't. Men running behind, players lost their markers too easy. Am I being harsh, Andy? Or
no, mate, it was shit. It was shit. Like, it's the worrying thing for me is there was Oggy's captain. Love Oggy. No other fucking leaders on that pitch yesterday. Yeah. No one. You didn't even have Kera in there or Zuma. Someone taking control, and like Souček, bless him, he just looked like a lost puppy. That cross, what he done in the first half, it went straight out for a goal kick, as like their goal kick, and like in the air, like they just all look completely lost. And more Souček's definitely got something over Moyes. He's definitely got something over him.
He's got his nudes. He must have.
Yeah, no. Or like he's got something going on with his daughter or something like that. That Wilfred Zaha.
No, he wouldn't let him.
I thought I was close to the mark with my Osama bin Laden comment.
Well, no, mate. Well, we can imagine that. Missy Moisey Souček. That sounds quite a good name, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know how I feel about that.
But no, with regard, the defending's atrocious. It's schoolboy defending, and they just look like they don't give a fuck. It's like, well, what's the point? I'm not going to play for the rest of the season. This is me. Lanzini's last game, probably for starting for the club as well.
He didn't play too bad, actually,
yeah.
in places.
Sorry, Steve?
I didn't think Lanzini was too bad in places, to be honest.
I'm just saying he's playing his last game.
Oh, yeah.
Bad thing. The same with Fornals. Fornals looks devoid of any ideas now. Fornals looks like he's he's had it all coached out of him, smashed out of him. Take it how you will. Go back and watch him before we signed him. The flair.
As much as I like Fornals, I read a comment today. Fornals needs to move on, and I think he probably does if we don't get a new manager.
I think that was going to be my next comment. I think, me personally, I'd like to see him, Paqueta, and another as a midfield three. If we can do that, I'm gonna do a discussion, do a video where I'm gonna have a discussion about possible formation changes with the personnel we've got, without maybe signing anyone else with the personnel we've got, to be able to get the most out of the personnel we have. That's not this shit football that we've been watching.
Yeah, but then we beat Man U 1-0 and put in a great performance. Don't
get me wrong. The 4-2-3-1, but it's shit football, Steve. It's awful to watch. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. We played against. No disrespect to Alkmaar here, okay, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to take away from Alkmaar. But they're not Premier League level. They're not top European contenders, and we let them have like 64% of the ball, 70% of the ball, 80% of the ball at some point in that first half at the London Stadium. You wouldn't believe we were the home team. And it's a hard watch. It's too much of a hard watch. I think we need. Moyes wanted to change us. He wanted to bring us to be a more attacking, possession-based side. Unfortunately, as I said in the preview, we didn't have the personnel, even with what we signed. There was still much to be done with how we do it.
I don't think Moyes has got him in him to actually coach that sort of side. I just don't. I think what we see is what Moyes can do and can do well. You see, for me, I don't care if we have 20% possession. If we win, that's okay. I'm of a different breed. It's all about the result for me.
Yeah, but again, if you're losing, and we've done that many times this season, and the football shit, it just doesn't make for an enjoyable spectacle. Again,
not at all.
If it's shit football and we win 1-0, it's a slightly different scenario. United, for instance, it wasn't great football, but we put in a shift and we come away with a win. I did see some shoots though, boys, at, was it 58 minutes? And he took off 4 hours and he bought on Mubama. And the fact that Ings didn't go off at that point cheered me up massively.
Yeah.
The two substitutions annoyed the shit out of me. Taking off Cornet, bringing on Ben Rama, taking off Souček, bringing on Declan Rice. Andy, there was no need to play them two yesterday. Even Bowen coming on for Ings. There was no need to play those three subs. Our season could have finished drastically yesterday with an injury to one of those three, two of those, all three of those players. One injury would have been fucking awful. Two injuries could have been catastrophic to our entire season. There was no need to bring any of those three on, in my opinion. What say you?
100%, mate. 100%. Like, this is where his stubbornness and having these finals, like he's done it before, where he's like, we've asked for a change, he makes it. Like, this is just for like one player, and then he'll bring him off after 55 minutes. That's what he used to do with Benny. Like, sometimes, like, Benny would be having a really good game, and then he'd be like, "Look, I'm doing what you asked me to," but after 55 minutes, he'll bring him off, and he's just done exactly the same thing. Declan Rice didn't go in for the 50-50. He bottled it. because he don't want to get injured because he
I
wants
was
to
gonna
play.
say, did he bottle it in the sense, in the sense of bottling it, or was he taking less of a risk? That's the way I looked.
Yeah. Less of of going in for the tackle because he's like, I want to play on Thursday. He probably didn't want to get taken out. Like I said, the travelling, what he's done, playing half. If he was going to play, you might as well have started him. If you're bringing him on for this, it doesn't make the slightest bit. Still the same intensity.
There is one thing in mitigation, and it is the only thing I can think of: goal difference. We didn't want to get spanked 4-0.
I don't think we would have done. I don't think it made that much of a difference. I mean,
They were on their holidays. They were on their holidays. They weren't going for it either, really.
They were playing flip-flop football. They're not going anywhere else. They were already on the beach. Steve, I'm going to come to you first.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about VAR and talk to me. Give me your thoughts on the disallowed Danny Ings goal.
Oh, well, what's Mbama meant to do? Crash into the post, break his neck, finish his career? I mean, that's what they're asking him to do for that goal to stand. There was nothing he could do, and he has to protect himself.
Right.
I thought it was a stinking decision, as usual, by the letter of the law.
Steve, you've used a key word there that I'm now going to bring to both of you. And again, I'll come back to you, Steve, first. You just used a key word. He put his hands to protect himself from clattering the post. Right, the key word there is protecting.
Yeah.
Now, I watched a diving save from Thomas Souček against Chelsea, where Gordon Banks would have been really impressed with a save. The words that were used by VAR and quoted on Ref Watch on Sky was that Souček was protecting himself by putting, and breaking his fall by putting his hand down.
The rule is
the same ruling in Alcantara, Thiago, against us, that he was breaking his fall and protecting himself when the ball struck his hand, despite the fact that they play basketball. So therefore, you've just used the key word of he was protecting himself from clattering into the post. How do you end up with two incidences that don't give a penalty, one in our favour, one against us, as such, and then the same incidents with the one where it's hit his hand coming off the post from about 6 inches? Let's be fair as well.
Okay, the rule is, and as stupid as the rule is, it only applies when you're falling down to the ground. That's the rule. James told me that, and I've got no reason. And he's pretty accurate on this sort of thing. Now, it makes a farce of the rule.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Shall I read what they said today on Ref Watch?
Let me give you this first, Andy. Let me give you this first. Got it on my phone here. Handball before scoring.
Oh yeah, I know. But you read that bit and I'll read their response. Yeah, go for it, mate.
The second change is on the accidental handball in the immediate build-up to a goal. If an attacking player's accidental handball immediately precedes another player's scoring, the goal will now be awarded when last season it was likely to have been ruled out. However, a player will still be penalised if he commits an accidental handball immediately before scoring himself.
Yeah, okay.
And Andy?
Right, so incident, Danny Ings fires in second goal to reduce West Ham's deficit to 2-1. VAR advised the referee to check the pitch side monitor after review. He disallows it for a handball against Mbama moments before the goal, when the ball rebounded off the post and hit his raised arm. His arms weren't even flipping raised, but anyway. Dermot says, everyone thinks the handballs are harsh now, but if an arm is that high and it strikes his arm in the build-up, it's going to be given at this time. You feel for the player, as he didn't mean it, but his arm was just up above the shoulder height. It was also recommendation from VAR, so for the on-field decision to make that change. So in this case, it is Michael Oliver who made the last decision. But did you see the replay? What he saw was just him with his arm up like that, and that even weren't even when the ball was hit. So what you've read is total bullshit compared to what I've just read. So none
Yeah.
of them know the rules.
No, and that's the problem, isn't it? I mean,
That's the key. Is none of them make for, shall we say, fair understanding of what currently sits in front of you. Now, listen, I will get and I will understand. I will understand if it's if it's genuine. He's genuinely put his hand up to, I don't know, deflect the ball, but he doesn't. His hands are here, right? First things first. He is this far from the post. He
yeah,
can't get his hands out of the way, and his hands are only up for protection. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There is corruption within the Premier League. You can't tell me there's not.
it does make you wonder.
When Tottenham have 4 decisions go their way against Brighton that really shouldn't have stood.
Shall I interrupt you on this one though, mate? Yeah. So do you know the Harry Kane penalty against Villa this weekend? Did you see it? What got given?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
Mate, Harry Kane was the blatant dive. So Martinez punched the ball away, and then Harry Kane collided with him. Yeah, and the penalty was given. And Dermot says, "I think it's a definite penalty." I don't understand what kind of football he watches. Like, if I don't know if you want to quickly try and get it up on the heart just to quickly see it.
Oh.
I know you can do it while we're talking, but this just proves that the Sky Six can do whatever the fuck they want. I know it wasn't us yesterday, like that wasn't a Sky Six game, but this just defines the like the one who was in charge yesterday, who was on VAR, that Rob, he's refereed about, he's shit ref as well. Like,
Yeah.
you just can't be. I'm not saying we would have won or drawn that game, but that last 20 minutes, we had momentum at that time when we scored. Like, we could have scored the 2 quick goals like we did at Forest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see. The thing is, I'm amazed that.
Sorry, Steve, you talking about the one at Villa, Andy?
Yeah, Villa. Yeah, just forward it to the last 90th minute. So forward the last like 30 seconds of the highlights.
I'm amazed the other 14 clubs, aren't up in arms about it though, because it's such consistently bad refereeing. I mean, the Alkmaar game, the refereeing decisions in the first half. Now this is a semi-final of the European Conference League, not the most prestigious thing, but nevertheless it's fairly important. And what happens? Oh, look, the referee makes blatantly bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. The standard of refereeing in that game was abysmal in the first half. It slightly improved in the second. But then you're talking about $1 billion product where they can't actually get it right in terms of who's making the decision. It's not.
But it sums it up though, gents. Yeah. So did anyone see the Martinelli incident with Matona yesterday?
No.
I didn't see what happened. I saw him get taken off.
Oh no. So Martinelli before that completely took Matona out, like dangerous play. Dermot says it's a yellow. Like, that's dangerous play. He literally nearly knocked him out. And it's like, if he didn't play for Arsenal, he'd be saying, like, it just winds me up. It just makes me sick how far we've come. We thought when VAR come in, it will make it even better for the so-called non-other 14 clubs, sorry. But it hasn't. It's made it worse.
Right, I'm just watching this here.
What, the Harry Kane one?
Yeah. So what I'm watching is that Martinez comes out. Kane steps into the challenge with his left leg, dragging his. I'd like to point out,
Dragging, yeah.
dragging his left leg via the toes, right, and actually initiates the contact. I've got it on pause here. I'm looking at it. He initiates the contact with with Martinez. It literally is the absolute epitome of a dive. He initiates. It's not like the goalkeeper coming out sliding and cleans out him as he's running. It's not that. He's dragging his left foot, toes bent, like kind of foot bent backwards, dragging like he
It's like he's about to do the triple jump.
yeah, he is, yeah. And it really is. Oh my God! I'm watching it again, and my eyes are bleeding. The fact that they've got something out of the game because Harry Kane's a cheating
Oh
bastard.
no, never. They still lost. But
Yeah,
they get the cup. Yeah, but
but we know, and it's becoming evidently clear that the officiating is not fit for purpose.
Then there's no point in having officials on the pitch, Steve. You
None
might
at all.
just get gone, use a drone with a whistle, that the moment someone of Stockley Park sees something happen, that they stop the game that way.
Yeah. Well, they're actually now talking about AIs doing offside, aren't they?
So it makes a bit of difference. It's not going to make the offsides aren't the issue. It's the penalties. The offsides work perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, we say perfectly. I don't think,
but you know what I mean, within reason.
I don't think we should be drawing lines for inches and the millimeters, which we've seen.
No, but what I mean is they're not costing. Like, you can sort of understand it within, like, but what I'm on about is what we could be sitting here now after our defeat yesterday. We're still worrying about relegation if we didn't beat Man United because of that penalty incident or that extra point. So I think it works out now. I think we're on -11 now for points. VAR costing us now. So we would be on 47 points or 48 points if VAR decisions went our way.
Well, that one against United was completely embarrassing. The one against Liverpool, you know, the fact that they don't learn just makes me giggle, and it does. If it wasn't so bad, I'd probably cry. But it is that bad that I'm just giggling now at the fact that they're not learning, not being funny. You saw the uproar. Against Liverpool for the Thiago the Thiago basketball handball. Okay.
Yeah.
And we watch that and we see it and we see the uproar that follows, not just by West Ham fans, but everyone other than Liverpool fans, really, that it should be handball, that, you know, the other fans, even ex-players are coming out and going, well, what you got to do to win a penalty? You know, and then a couple of weeks later, we see a player move his arm to stop the ball. The fact that the that Dermot Gallagher turns around on ref watch and goes, yeah, but his hand was still in the shadow of his body. He might have moved his arm up, but it's like me doing this, boys, right? Me going.
But I thought if you moved your arm to the ball, and this is where it gets grey, I thought if you move your arm to the ball, it's a penalty. It's a deliberate handball.
We know.
No. If you're in the Sky 6, it doesn't matter.
And there it is. But the fact that they haven't learned, the fact that we're still sitting here talking about shitty decisions that VAR have given. I'm not saying that if we score that goal, if that goal was given yesterday, we go and score again and we get a draw out of the game. Right? I'm not saying that. Could have done. I'm not saying we were going to, but we could have done. You know, our towels would have been up.
Gives us a better chance, doesn't it?
Of course it does. And then our season's done. Our Premier League season's done. They can't catch us. It's 7 points. There's only 6 on offer. Doesn't matter then. Right? But no, here we are discussing another bullshit VAR decision.
Yeah.
That could so easily have been avoided. And as you say, Andy, it's cost us so many points this season that we're looking at a situation where we could have been quite comfortably top half right now if we'd been given those points.
Yep, agreed. But until there is some proper accountability, and actually there are some fines for really bad refereeing decisions, nothing will change. You can't even complain about the VAR without the FA bringing you into disrepute, can you?
Yeah, but then you've got the FA refusing to admonish Andy Robertson for his role in the Hatzidikis
Constantine.
My mate
Yeah.
Constantine. They've not come out and admonished Andy Robertson. Nothing's been said about Robinson coming up and laying his hands on an official. No. What we've done is we've suspended the official, and we've taken him out of his job. But what we won't do is we won't punish a player for laying his hands on the referee or on an official, which brings about the elbow. It's not even an elbow. He throws his get off of me, smack, and then all of a sudden, the defender is the victim. Never their fault. Andy, anything you want? We're not going to do player ratings. We discussed this earlier. I can give you our player ratings now. 2.
That's generous.
It's very generous.
No, mate. I knew. If we got something out of that game, I would have been over the moon. I didn't really care. Like what Steve said at the start, like any majority of West Ham fans, Thursday's the main objective. Short flight, get through to the final, and hopefully relegate Leeds on. That'll be the perfect week.
Well, you know what? My thoughts. I'll just give my last bit before I go over to you, Steve. My thoughts were that our starting 11 that we would consider using on Thursday should have been taken to an all expenses paid spa retreat somewhere in England, told not to turn up for training, go with a couple of the medical team to, like I say, a spa retreat where they just take 3 or 4 days. Boys, that's where you're going. I don't want to see you at
Chill in
training.
their pants and watch YouTube.
Watch us on YouTube, Andy. Exactly.
Yeah.
They should have gone to a spa retreat. They shouldn't have been taken to bloody Brentford where they played half hour in Rice and
Well, like you said, even not spa, like what they do. A lot of them love golf. Go out, have a couple of days off, go and have a round of golf, just chill out, take your mind off it, and get the job done.
I don't want them walking anywhere, Andy.
Golf buggies.
I don't know, because they've still got a swing. They can pull a hamstring fucking to swing in a club. No, nothing. Sat in a steam room or a sauna, just don't move.
Oh, what's the ice chamber? They're nice.
I could.
You can only have 2 semis, 2 semi-final games a year.
See, I was going to say, if you're telling me I can only have 2 semis a year, Andy, we're going to be having words after this, mate. There's no excuse in the world. Steve, you've forgotten what a semi is. Behave yourself.
Well, true at my age. I'm just happy I've got breath in me.
Anyone who doesn't know, because we never see Steve's face, he's
this is true. This is true. I tell you what, I can.
And this is why this is not suitable for kids. This YouTube channel.
Well,
exactly.
For that when we put the video out.
Yeah, I can tell you what I thought of the game. I've never cared so little that we lost.
Yeah.
Completely unimportant. Much more important things afoot than that game. I mean, if we need to get a point against either Leicester or Leeds, I'm sure we will. I don't think it will come to that. I honestly think. I don't think Leeds have got an awful lot about them, even though Big Sam's there. I think Leicester will probably lose tonight, even if they draw. So what? You know what
though? If I had to choose, I would still want Forest to go down instead of Leeds. If I had to pick, if I had to, I would still like Forest.
Lingard.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
I'd actually like to go down.
We'll sign Lingard, I tell you.
And the other reason as well is for the way we were treated at the second game of the season when that was. I know it wasn't the ref, but I thought that was wrong. as well. Do you remember the disallowed goal what we had that you tell that was made? I just don't like them. A lot of their fans obviously picked on like West. Like they said we were getting relegated, and like they're very arrogant with themselves. Don't get me wrong; they deserved their point against Chelsea. Like they did play well, but it would just be funny for them thinking they're safe and then they get relegated.
Absolutely slap. No, I'd like to see Everton go down, and that comes back to a hatred of James McCarthy with the challenge on Payet. I believe it was McCarthy. Was it?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
it was scissored.
Yeah, MacArthur was the one who played for Crystal Palace, wasn't it? There was two of them. McCarthy,
yeah. No, it was him at Everton, and the fact that they've decided to build this, 485,000 seater stadium on the banks of or on the docks, and it's going to be a championship at best stadium next season. That's part of the reason I think, and like you say, it comes back to the arrogance, Andy, that you say about with the Forest fans. That's how I feel. Sorry, Steve, your final thoughts. Anything you want to add?
No, just looking forward to Thursday, really. I think that's the game, isn't it?
We'll get something on record for the three of us for that game over the next couple of days. We'll get something put together for the Alkmaar game. As you say, that's the game now, isn't it? We forget. And as I said to Rob, as far as I'm concerned, if we get to the final, the Premier League season is very much it's a disappearing footnote in my mind for this season. If we go on and win it, I forget completely about this Premier League season. It means absolutely fuck all to me.
Sorry to interrupt. I've got to watch this. So Harold Webb's on Monday Night Football tonight.
Right.
They're releasing audio of certain ones. It's funny how they're not picking any of ours. They're showing the Newcastle Arsenal what was being said. Do you remember the penalty what was disallowed? They've gave that as an example, and another one. It's funny how I've not showed any of our ones though, innit? The ones what were blatant to hear what they were fucking actually saying.
The Liverpool and the Man U to just do the two. So that's all I want to hear. Is I want to know what your conversation was behind what should be considered two very, very blatant penalty decisions.
Yeah. Will be nice, but it won't happen. You know that.
No, listen, because no one cares about little old West Ham. We'll just keep plodding away and doing our thing. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining.
Pleasure as always.
Bailing me out. We're going to get this out in the next couple of hours. I think I'll get this onto everyone's social media platforms. As I said earlier, guys, please like, comment, and share the stream. Give us your thoughts on the game that just took place. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And the Iron supporting food banks, the link is going to be in the description. Please donate to those guys. The people at my pub, for those of you who are new to the channel, I am in Lewisham, enemy territory.
I'm going to spend a couple of days. Now I'm not working. I can spend a couple of days down there.
You beautiful man. We have
preferably a Friday with karaoke or DJing, whatever you do on Friday.
No, what I do, DJ Maverick. We've raised £500 here at the pub for the Iron supporting food banks. So, well pleased with that. So if anyone else wants to jump in and add some money to that would be great. Roll on Thursday. That's all. Come on, you Irons.
Yeah, come on, you Irons.
Take care, gentlemen. I will see you soon.
Take care.
See you later.